if you're listening to this in the car and you're on your way home,
we'll be in
turn
your
around
house.
because we're in your house.
We're in your house. Junkies podcast, the podcast where we discuss all things horror. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Pat.
And today, listeners, we got a special show for you. We are joined with the directors and writer of The Houses October Built, Bobby Rowe and Zack Andrews.
Thank you for having us on, guys.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come talk to our show.
No worries.
So I think the first thing we always do with our guest is we kind of ask him, like, what is your favorite scary movie?
Good question, which I'm sure for most people changes all the time.
Yeah, for us it changes all the time too.
Yeah, you know what? I think what affected me most, maybe not scared me the most, but I had an opportunity. I got to see Saw about 9 months early before anybody had even heard of it.
Oh, what the fuck?
And seeing that way with no hype, and we watched it 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And that effect, having a villain who actually never really pulls the trigger, mixed with the twist in the ending, it just kind of gave this cerebral horror that we hadn't had maybe in a while.
Yeah.
Most of the things trending were slasher, which I still love all the normal 80s Freddy's and Jason's, but Saw elevated the genre, and that to me was that nice hybrid that we were kind of always looking for, something that just made people think a little bit differently about horror as opposed to just slash them up.
Exactly, and I feel like that franchise moved from being unique to going to just gore fest slasher.
Yeah,
but still, like I to me those first 3 movies were solid.
Yeah,
I like the Saw franchise.
They changed things.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
definitely
they did.
did.
How'd you feel about Jigsaw?
With more of a story as well. With for me, you get numb to watching a lot of these horror films. And it's not that they're not well done or scary for maybe the mainstream, but I remember I was by myself at 2 a.m. watching Insidious for the first time, and I just I can get through these things. It's dark, it's late at night, I'm alone. Usually doesn't bother me, but when that music came on from the record and Tiptoe by the Window started and the shadow came by, there was a window, and I just turned it off and went to bed. And I just in my head went, I can watch this tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yeah, and then
so that was the first time that something had really gotten me in a while.
I mean, that song is fucking terrifying no matter what. So
yeah, but now that you watch that scene, it's like kind of comedical. Like watching it now with...
Well, no, I think it stuck with me more because I remembered how scared I was.
Damn.
That it actually affected me, and I went to bed.
Jesus Christ.
I couldn't sleep alone the night I went to go see Insidious. So I remember my experience with that.
Yeah, Insidious kind of fucked me up too. So, I mean, your favorite horror movies, you got Saw, you got Insidious. So out of those movies, or out of any horror movies, like what are like some of your favorite aspects of the horror, especially coming from directors and writers of horror? Like, what are those like things that you love within a horror film?
I think it's the groundedness is what we kind of gravitate to because, supernatural stuff is always fun, demonic possession, all this stuff, but it's been done several times.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of wanted something that resonates with you the next day as if, it could happen to you. And I think that's probably summed up best in The Strangers, the first one, when, they basically, the villains have one line almost in the whole movie, maybe 2. And that one main line when Liv Tyler answers the door, and they ask her why, or when they're hurting them, and they say, why are you doing this to us? And she just answers, because you were home.
Yeah.
That kind of indiscriminate killing is terrifying.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Because most people think, well, I don't deserve this. This is never going to happen to me. But when something happens in randomness like that, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's truly terrifying. That scene fucked me up to this day. It's still a terrifying scene.
So did you guys use like those movies that you just mentioned? Do you use that to kind of influence both these movies that you guys made?
Yeah, I think you take aspects of anything. I think I think people are dumb to not learn from people's mistakes and people's, successes and try to figure out how you can do your own spin of that. I mean, we tried to go back. There's even like Lost Boys and some Hitchcock references in Houses too.
Yes, exactly.
Just some of the shots and stuff like that. So it's all a learning experience. I think anybody would probably tell you that, and you just try to keep getting better along the way. And with we take pride in originality.
Yeah.
But most things are derived from something, and then you get those ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
I think too, when we're watching things, whether it's a cool camera shot or a unique kill or some kind of twist that, I think Bobby especially, his favorite thing to do is to call me after he's seen a movie and say, I hadn't thought about that before, or I hadn't seen that before. And I think that was a major influence, just starting this franchise, because we wanted to take a stab at something that we really didn't feel like had been done before, which was to make the movie real.
Yeah.
I mean, the first frame of Blair Witch, as genius as it was, the original, at the time, it was a marketing, just an amazing attempt at doing this viral marketing and that kind of thing, but it was still fake.
Yeah.
You wanted it to feel real, but it was fake. And so we wanted the audience to be able to Google the people and places that we were going to and talking to and actually have to stop and go, wait, this is real.
Yeah.
And I remember getting the call from Steven Schneider the first time he had seen the original doc that you can actually get on the Blu-ray of the first film. But he said, this movie's actually real until it isn't, and I can't really pick the moment where it switched.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest success for us, is to be able to say that we pulled that off.
Yeah, when I first saw The House is October Built the first time, I remember watching it in my room, and I was just like, first off, this is a really original movie, because I've never seen a movie that was shot in a found footage format but also pertained to haunted attractions, which we both love on this show so much. So, like, seeing that in a movie was just like fucking fantastic. So, like, speaking of like coming up with this like original idea, how much research did you guys have to do, like finding the haunts for your movie? Was it just like some that you knew about through your lives of going through them, or like did you just like spend countless hours of researching and contacting them to make your movie?
Well, we're both from Dallas, and we grew up going to a lot of these haunted houses in that area. And Dallas actually took over from Detroit as the Halloween capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The haunted house capital of the world. So Bobby and I used to, in high school, we'd go to horror films at the movie theater and then go to a haunted house. So we were familiar with some of the ones in the area. And then, we just did a lot of research on. We did want to be careful of, like, we went to a place called Zombie Manor, and that was just all straight zombies. Well, then we had to make sure that, the next place had a little bit different, take to it.
Exactly.
And so whether it was paintball or, in the second movie going to a zombie 5K and a zombie pub crawl, we had to be careful not to just go to similar, things that visually would be similar. And so we did, want to do that for the audience, but also just to move the story along in the proper way. So it did take research, but it's fun. I mean, I can't tell you how many, copy and paste haunted house links, we're sending back and forth, check this place out, and just, wanting to see, and even scheduling. I mean, some places were only open on Fridays and Saturdays, and it might be a place we wanted to go, but we were only in that area Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
And so, some stuff, production-wise happens as well.
Well, it was also nice too. The haunt community has been real open-armed to us, and they're like a family in general.
Hell yeah.
And it was a battle from the making the first movie, when nobody knew context of anything, nobody knew who we were.
Yeah.
That was a lot tougher. And then what was nice about making Houses 2 is a lot of people came to us. I mean, I'd say we had emails, several of them a week after the first Houses, asking when and if we make a sequel, can you come here?
Awesome.
And that
That's
was really
so cool.
nice. Yeah, that took because it took a lot out of us on trying to plan when you want to stick to more of the story and the creative. So having people come to us was nice.
Hell yeah. Now, with that said, both movies, which one is like you guys' favorite hunts or houses or whatever, and which one actually got under your skin?
Out of the two movies, which is our favorite haunt?
Yeah, out of all the movies, like combined, which haunt was actually your favorite, and which one really got underneath your skin? Like what actually,
which one
what
actually
haunt
scared
you?
My favorite production-wise, like on whether you're a Halloween fan, maybe more for all ages, it's not got under your skin, but the 5K run in part 2, that facility was mind-blowing. It was 1 million square feet.
Jesus Christ.
The military uses it to go through subway, high school shooting scenarios, Katrina-type scenarios, overturned subways, and God, what else? They have tons of stuff out there, and you could shoot an entire movie there. And that was mind-blowing to have zombies coming from you at all directions, and in the daylight, but yet you were going through obstacle courses that I'd never even seen before, didn't even know existed.
Which I thought was like a nice evolution from the first movie to the second movie. Like you guys showed a little bit more of the houses and stuff like that, which was really cool.
Well, we were worried about, as awesome as so many of these haunts are, they don't translate all of them to screen because they become dark labyrinths.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's all, and even though it's great in person, we didn't want them to all blend together, so we took pride in trying to find, especially for part 2, as many. We went kind of more the festival and event route with 2 because we felt like we had shown a lot of what America had to offer, and how else can you kind of celebrate Halloween, whether it's a brain eating contest with Kobayashi or
that was
5K
funny.
run, the paintball in the first one. Just trying to show a wide array of stuff.
Yeah.
No,
zombie strippers, I mean.
Yeah.
Laser titties.
They should have been in the sequel. We were stupid not to bring them back.
Yeah. No, but I thought it was like a nice evolution from the first movie to the second movie. Like you guys went out your range and weren't just doing haunts, but you guys went out and did like the
other
events.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
There's so much in the month of October that really goes on.
Which probably what influenced like the story in the second movie, where people were actually hitting you guys up to go to these haunts and check them out. Like I feel like you guys that actually happened, like after filming the first movie.
It did. There was a lot of, and we kind of tried to take as much pride as we could in, or we always have, is mixing that realism, with fiction, and where is that line crossed?
Right.
So as much as we can do of that, because found footage, we know that genre gets a little bit of an eye roll because it is oversaturated, and a lot of it's not done right. And in the first one, we followed all rules. And in the second one, without giving spoilers away, we still followed the rules, even though we included music. We tried to. There's a reason for every shot and for every actual detail in there to still fall under the found footage rules. At first glance, may not seem that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And then something I wanted to talk about, because we were doing some research about you guys, and we came across something that you guys were planning on, or are planning maybe, making this into like a 4-film series. Is that still true? Are you guys thinking of doing a third movie? And if so, like, will it follow the 5 people we have grown to know and love, or do you think it could follow a different group of people trying to find, the world's most extreme haunt? If you can say.
I will tell you that 3 will, and there's a plan up to 4. Like we've mapped everything out for a long time.
Hell yeah.
And 3 will take it we'll call it a completely different direction.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's
Are you guys going to be starring in it again though?
Can't tell you that.
Can't. Okay.
Damn it. All right.
Well, that's still awesome news because
thank you.
Like I said, this is one of my favorite films. I watched it. I've rewatched them because we're talking about the movies later on. And I mean, it's just a fun watch both times. Like it's just it has rewatchability, and that's just something that sometimes it's very hard when it comes to the horror franchise. That you see a movie once, you kind of don't want to watch it again, but not with these movies. I kind of love going back to them.
That, and I just like with the sequel, you guys kind of like brought it to where it ended in the first movie, which I like when sequels do. You know,
yeah, in a perfect world, you button it up and you watch them together. You know, they're 90-minute movies, so in a Halloween type atmosphere, if you watch 2 back to back, I think there's payoffs at the end of 2 that go back to part 1, and things like that I think that it works well together. So we're kind of glad Hulu ended up picking up both of them. So that's kind of nice to have both of these.
It definitely is. It made it a lot easier because I watched the first one on Netflix, and then when I saw they were both on Hulu, that's when I sat down and I watched the first one, and then I watched the second one immediately after. So it's a nice movie to watch back to back because you kind of feel like there's just that year passing, and then that's it, and you get right back into the story.
Well, even when the first one came out, I saw that before the second one was even released or anything like that, and I thought it ended fairly well, to where it kept it open ended like that, and then coming to the sequel, actually answering some of those questions was kind of nice.
Right, we kind of wanted you to argue on the way to the parking lot a little bit, and that's kind of what part 1 was about. Was how far do you go to scare somebody? And that's kind of what it's always been about. As opposed to murderers being out there, when you see a movie, like the Hellfest that's coming out, obviously that version of it went through our head back in 2010.
Yeah.
We wanted to move it more in a direction where it was real places. I mean, when we first were doing the movie, they were trying to have us do them on sets, and that was a big fight not to do that because it just every detail these haunt owners and these scare actors have put into it, you can't capture. It'll look like the fake moon landing.
Yeah.
And so that was a big deal to us to make it as authentic as we could, and also highlight how hard these guys work.
Yeah. Because they do it. We actually had the opportunity to last year interview the creative director and the marketing designer for Screamageddon down here in Florida, and they walked us through their haunts, and I mean, man, the attention to detail and the amount of labor and time spent on these houses, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
And then I think one thing I kind of wanted to touch on, because you briefly, we both know that what we saw on Netflix or in theaters, wherever anyone's watched The House is October Built, that technically wasn't the original film that you guys created years ago. It was in a sense a remake,
but with the same characters. Is there a part of you that wanted that original movie to be released to everyone, or are you guys happier with what the remake entailed?
Well, this is a huge part of us that wanted, because it's the more authentic version,
right?
Which is what we went for. So I mean, it was a big thing for us to get it on the Blu-ray, so that it at least lives out there and breathes. Have you guys seen it?
Not yet. This is the first. When you said it was on the Blu-ray, I was like, buying now because I need to watch this.
Yeah.
Well, there's a good for people listening that have seen it. There's a really cool. I wouldn't advise watching it first because it kind of spoils too much. But Good Bad Flicks, if you guys are familiar with them on YouTube. Cecil over there runs that channel, and he's really a great researcher and does a lot of docs on movies for the past 30 years.
Right.
And he came to us saying, look, I think there's a bigger story here about this original I keep hearing about. And he had actually done a bunch of research and made probably about a 20-minute doc on how it evolved.
Yeah, we actually watched that documentary.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he did a great job, and he shows that whole side of things where it did evolve, but it wasn't the, I take blame. It was my decision to shoot in standard def, but
right.
really on purpose. If you saw the timeline, 2009, 2010, we weren't ready for everything HD, and it didn't feel right. All the docs felt fake.
Yeah.
Right.
That looked too clean, and but that was a problem when Fox and the Regency ended up buying it. That you can't show that the same way on 120-foot screens, which I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
That was kind of a shame from that standpoint, because it really is the more grounded, raw version. But I still, all three of them are near and dear to my heart. There's just, there's that 20% change from the original to the one that you guys or most people are familiar with. That is still just very fun to watch. But that first one, you could hear a pin drop in the theater, and we would get calls or get emails every day asking if we went to the cops and yada yada. And so we were really excited that people took the bait.
Yeah. And I think I love when they do, like, when, you know, directors like yourself and even Blair Witch, when they did their marketing, like, when you go to those lengths to make people question, like, yeah, this is at a film festival and we just watched it, but, like, shit, we can't tell if this is real or fake. I love when you have that, like, you're on fence with that idea, like, man, I know it's a movie, but, like, this feels really real to me right now.
And it's a great element to have in a horror movie, especially when it comes to found footage, because it's the idea of found footage is to make it seem like it really happened, you know? And then, like, I feel like you guys did it really, really well with that, too. Like, I think you guys kind of did it, like, way better than Blair Witch did, to be quite honest with you, because you guys did go to those haunts and actually talk to real people. You know, that was really cool.
No, I appreciate it, because it's funny. You never know how anything's going to play. I mean, you do your best, and then you try it, and, you know, then there's 400 people in an audience, and you either live or die.
Yeah, that sounds like our panel that we did at Spooky.
You do what?
Well, we did a panel at Spooky Empire last year. We weren't expecting a lot of people, and we had, like, a packed room.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Same feeling.
And you feed off that energy, right? I'm sure you guys know if it went well, if not. I mean, you can feel the air sucked out of a room if it's not. But, you know, by the end of it, the people had really taken the bait, and so we decided. I ran up to the festival director and I told him to kill the Q&A, and he's like, "No way!" And I was like, "Fucking kill it! We're not going out there anymore, because people, I can feel them thinking something happened to us, and this will ruin it." Yeah. And I said no, and we flipped off the lights and gave everybody a glow stick and had them go out in the dark.
That's so sick,
and
so amazing.
Zach and I hid in the projection room.
It's so awesome. It feels like It Came at Night may have taken an idea from you guys, because they did that too when they were first screening the movie, driving people out to the middle of the woods.
Yeah, it's smart. If you feel a room and you just go with it on some of that stuff, and you know, if you can be lucky enough that it does resonate with people enough, let them sleep on it. Let them feel that way, at least for a night.
Yeah,
definitely.
Have you guys seen the trailer for Hellfest yet?
Oh yeah, we have.
How do you feel?
We got sent that script about, what was it, Zach, 2 years ago? Yeah, at least. Yeah, 2-3 years ago. And talks about going in for it. And like, look, it's the version that is obvious. It doesn't mean, like, we all want that version. We all love haunted houses.
Yeah.
We get it, you know, but the mask alone really bothered me in that trailer. I'm not sure what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
And I really, look, this is not the filmmakers' call on any of it, but they did seem like they showed a lot of the kills, and I just thought that was that's doing a disservice to the writers and the director of that movie, because, you know, they're working hard to try to figure out cool ways for a kill, and I feel like they threw them all out there.
They definitely did. We couldn't agree more.
That was our complaint when we saw it last week, was like, I'm like, you showed most of your death scenes in this movie, which, I mean, they opened them to be like either their kill scenes or not, but if they are, I'm going to be disappointed when I go see it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go see a movie because of the, you know, how you pitch me the story.
Yeah.
And so if I'm saying, hey, a group of friends is going to go into a carny haunted house and there's a killer, that you know, that's what has to get me to the movie theater.
And that's how.
And then when I'm watching the movie, then I enjoy the kills and, you know, some character, some, you know, turns and things like that, which I know this movie has.
Yeah.
Which how marketing should go to be. It's just tell this, like, not tell the full story, but, you know, like, kind of give you, like, hands on what the story's going to be, and not give you, like, you know, the good scenes, like the scenes that you're going to go there for to see, like the death scenes. Like, it shouldn't, they shouldn't spoil that for you.
Look, like, horror fans are coming regardless.
Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
You don't need to throw all that stuff out there. They just need to learn from some of that, and you know, they have you at Killer in a Haunted House. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's all you need to say, and we'll be there to sit down. And we watched the trailer. It was like 3 minutes long. I'm like, why is this 3 minutes long?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, name the last trailer that was that. I mean, that's just unnecessary.
Yeah. It really is. And I mean, like, and I think they should take I can't think of the word right now, but they should really draw their information from, like, you know, movies like It Comes at Night and, you know, A Quiet Place. Their marketing, like, they did show long trailers, but at first their teasers, Hereditary, yeah. I mean, they really didn't tell you what was going on, and that's what sold those movies for us. Is like, we don't know what's happening, we don't want to know, and then they don't tell you when you watch the movie, really.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Did you say they'll tell you what it's about once you watch the movie?
What was that?
Did you say, and they also don't tell you about what it's about after you watch the movie?
Yeah, after you watch the movie, you have no fucking idea what you just watched. You're just like, what the fuck?
On that one.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with, like, It Comes at Night and Hereditary. Like, I had to do some homework afterwards. I was like, what the hell did I just watch?
But
you know, and that was part of the hype machine too. But I haven't seen it yet. It's on one of my lists. I really like Joel Edgerton, but I haven't had a chance to see that one yet.
Oh, it's worth the watch. I promise you.
Yeah.
But guys, I mean, I really do appreciate you guys taking the time and talking to us on the show. We here on the Horror Junkies podcast love your movies. We cannot wait to see what you guys are cooking up for a third and fourth movie, or any other projects that you may be working on. We're really into the vibes you guys create with, you know, the directing position and the storylines. You know, Zach, I know you wrote it, and so did Bobby, co-write that movie. You know, I know there was a lot of ad-lib opportunity, but, you know, the story, the plot, it's all there. It's really fun. It's captivating. And like I said, very original. I haven't seen a movie before this that really gave us that haunted attraction horror movie where in a found footage form. So I definitely, what you guys are doing is awesome, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, we appreciate you guys paying attention to all the detail as well, and you know that's who we try to make it for. We're the same as you guys. We love haunted houses. We love obsessed with Halloween.
Yeah.
My daughter's 4. She just said to me this morning, she's like, "Dad, when's Halloween?" and it's like it is. It's one of those things that you do feel like you're a little kid still by that holiday, and we just kind of wanted that. It's always been our love letter, so. We hope to kind of continue that as well.
Awesome. Well, like I said, we can't wait to see what you guys create for us. And come down to Florida sometime, man. We got Halloween Horror Nights. We got Screamageddon. We got some pretty intense haunted houses down here for you guys.
Yeah, no, we hear a lot about it. And we got so close when we were over in Georgia, and we almost made that move to come down. So, maybe in part 3.
Yeah, maybe in part 3. But like you said, guys, thank you for so much for taking the time and being on our show. Have a safe trip on your road. I know you guys are just coming back from like San Diego Comic-Con. Hope that was a blast. I watched you guys' story. It looks like it was a blast. So, like I said, thank you for coming on the show and talking to us today.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
All right, you too.